But let's get into our power rankings. We ranked teams 1 through 30. We're going to put those up on our Instagram, on our Twitter, the full rankings. But in this podcast episode, we wanted to cover just a couple of teams that rose, teams that fell, and a couple teams that flipped-flopped locations. And the big one is the Braves and the Mets. They swapped places because the Braves this week, for the first time, took the lead in the NL East. They don't have it anymore, but they've been playing better than the Mets recently. We ended up moving the Braves above the Mets. I believe the Braves are in third, the Mets are in fourth. There, yeah, they got the little pennants in the background. The Braves are 87-53 to the Mets 89-52, but the Braves are 8-2 in their last 10, and the Mets are 6-4 in their last 10. And the Braves have just clawed a lot closer. Maybe talk about what led us to making that decision.
I think it's just the Braves have been looking good recently. The Mets have just kind of they lost. I think a series to the Nationals right after they played the Dodgers. So Mets have been losing a couple games that they should win, and then the Braves are, like you said, they're 8-2 in their last 10. They lost 2 straight, but before that they had won 8 straight and took over the division. So the Braves, they've been playing really well recently, and that kind of led to them. I think they're the 3rd team in our power rankings. You can go ahead and go to our Instagram, go to our Twitter to fact check us and see where your team's at. But I believe the Mets are right behind them at 4. But I mean, you can really swap them either way. I just think the Braves have been playing a little bit better as of late.
Yeah, no, I don't think that. I know I don't disagree. I don't think many fans would disagree that the Braves have been the better team as of now. And again, power rankings aren't saying who is the better team. It's a mixture of who's the better team and who's been playing better recently, almost like a stock exchange, like we've kind of mentioned a couple of different times, of teams. And I think that the Braves deserve to be higher than the Mets based on the way that they've been playing. But that doesn't answer the question that I want to pose to you right now. Who do you think is the bigger threat to beat the Dodgers long-term and possibly even go to the World Series between these two teams? Because they've gone back and forth. We have our differing opinions about who might win the division or who is the better team right now. But who do you think is the bigger threat coming out of the East?
I think it is the Braves. You've got that postseason caliber or the postseason experience on the roster. They have Acuna now, who he's a little banged up, hasn't been playing as well, but I mean, he still provides that spark for the crowd. If he hits a big 6-inning bomb in a game that could change the tide of the entire series just to get the crowd into it. And I mean, lineup, I'd take the Braves. Pitching staff, you probably go with the Mets, but I mean, it's close. The Braves have no joke of a pitching staff either. And combined with that experience and then just the way they've been playing right now, they're on their way to peaking at the right time. You don't want to slow down too much here after losing 2 straight, but they're on their way to peaking at the right time. And we saw the Braves, who were kind of, I would consider them significant, not a worse team than the Dodgers last year, and they kind of made the Dodgers look like the way worse team, winning that series pretty easily in 6. So I think the Braves are a very big threat to the Dodgers right now.
Yeah, I think I would give the same answer. It's kind of like what we talked about last week of like the biggest, or ranking our teams that we think are most likely to win the World Series. For me, it's just the Braves. I think that and I think you took not offense, but you disagreed with me a little bit when I said that the Mets don't have as much like top-heavy star power that the Braves do, which I'm not saying the Mets don't have star power. I just think compared to the teams I had above them, which were the Braves, the Astros, and the Dodgers, I think that the Mets are slightly underneath that, especially when it comes to the lineup. I mean, they've got Scherzer and DeGrom, which can go out and win you any 1-2 game in a series. But after that, and then in the lineup, I just think that the Braves have a little bit more star power. They have a little bit more experience in the playoffs. I mean, even a lot more experience in the playoffs in the World Series. And I just think that the Braves are probably the bigger threat to the Dodgers.
So then, are you also going to take the Braves to win the division?
I don't know. That's the thing. Because, I mean, 89-52. The Mets have they're, I think that what's that, 1.5 or 2 games up to the Braves, 87-53. The season is almost over. The Mets have led the entire way. I really don't know. I mean, because I think that the Braves, they have the highest potential, but the Mets have been very consistent. They scrap out games, and I think it's going to be kind of like Giants-Dodgers last year, where the Dodgers were clearly a better team. They had better players, but the Giants led consistently for a long way. And I just feel like when you lead the entire way throughout the year, it just feels like to the team, it feels like your division. Like it feels like you deserve to win the division, and the good teams like actually make do on that, and they do win the division. So I think that the Mets will still win the East. If you were to ask me right now, I'm going to stick with that. Also, I've been saying it all season, even from the preseason. I want to stay true to my prediction, and I hope I was right preseason. I still, though, will also stick with what I said, that the Braves will be the better team in the postseason.
And that's another thing. We talk about who's going to be the bigger threat to the Dodgers, and kind of going on a sidetrack talking about the Dodgers now. The Dodgers, as the 1 seed, they're going to have a very tough run to the World Series.
Well, they're already in the postseason too. We haven't even mentioned they have already clinched a postseason bid.
Yeah, this early, it's crazy. I mean, they've got like a 20-something game lead on the Padres, and it's inevitable for them to clinch the 1 seed as well. They're close to double digits up on the Mets for that one. So, I mean, coming out of it, you're gonna have to play, assuming the playoffs go as we expect in terms of winning. We think the 4 seed, whoever the first wild card, is going to win their wild card matchup against the second wild card team. Whether that be the Braves or the Mets, we'll see. But let's say for now it's the Mets hold on, and then the Braves win their wild card series. Then the Dodgers have to play the Braves, and if they beat that, then they'll have to play the Mets, who will probably have the easier match. I mean, Cardinals are red hot right now, so I mean they're dangerous. But the Cardinals, I mean, they're not going to get me, but they'll probably end up playing the Cardinals, or they would be the last wild card team, whether that's the Padres or Phillies, or maybe the Brewers sneak in. But as the 2 seed, even in the American League as well, it almost feels like the 2 seed is going to have a little bit of an easier path, because you'll have to play the best team. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. Maybe not as much in the American League, but in the National League, you'll have to play the Braves or the Mets if you're the Dodgers in the first round. And then you'll have to play probably the other one in the championship series just to get to the World Series. So, I mean, both these teams are very big threats. We feel like the Braves are a little bit more of a threat, but that's not to say that the Mets can take down the Dodgers as well. So it's going to be a fun postseason in the National League.
Well, it's a lot like last year with the Giants and the Dodgers, where the Giants were the 1 seed, but you almost rather them be the 2 seed, because they had to face the Dodgers in the division series as opposed to playing them in the championship series. They were clearly the 2 best teams in the National League. I mean, you can argue that the Dodgers and Braves, or whoever is, there will be an argument for whoever comes in second in the National League East being the second best team behind the Dodgers in the National League. And if they win their wild card, they match up with the Dodgers right in the division series. And then if the winning team wins that division series, like whoever wins in the other division series, it's going to be like crazy in the National League. And when you look at the American League, it's just like so much weaker than the National League in total. But I think I'm just so excited for the playoffs. Both of these teams, I don't think there's any argument, are the second and third best team in the National League in whatever order you want to place them. The Cardinals, I think, are a solid 4th as of right now, and then behind them there's a couple more teams, one of which we'll mention in a little bit. But I think that this has been the discussion all season. Mets or Braves, we're on different sides. It's going to be just fun to see it play itself out.